Hey, well, this is Zacchaeus with another live word of the day. And today, I thank you for tuning in. And I thank those who tuning in for the first time. I thank you. And those who've been consistently support me, I thank you as well. Well, today, I want to talk about 86% of Americans are broke. That's what the statistics say. And according to 2023 sources, what I researched and looked up, and that's what I want to discuss today. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, man. So, well, the day is crazy because you're looking at people struggling, people trying to pay bills, and according to the sources, it says U.S. consumers has racked up 1 trillion in credit card debt. 1 trillion in credit card debt. And that's because if you don't have a good amount of income coming in from your source of income, meaning your job, what you're gonna go to? And a lot of American safety net is credit cards because they don't have a emergency fund. They're saying they're not making enough money on their current job to have a emergency fund. So what is their safety net? A credit card. So you pull out your credit cards, you apply for credit cards, you pull out your credit cards, and you swipe away. And let's go back in the history, a little history now. The pandemic, during the pandemic in 2020, when the pandemic hit really hard in 2020, March of 2020, um, things slowed down for a lot of Americans, slowed down. And the spending became less because you find yourself staying at home more. Everything was on lockdown. And then when 2021 hit, everything was lifted. A lot of people took off their face mask. Everything was back into normal flow of things, and to keep the economy going, they said, okay, they were giving out PPP loans. Oh, those who remember the PPP loans that they were handing out, a whole lot of loans just to keep the economy afloat. Because in order to keep businesses afloat, you have to make money keep coming in and money keep pouring out through businesses and other resources to help the economy keep growing. So a lot of PPP loans, people are lying, trying to get the PPP loans, saying that they own a business and they don't. And there's a lot of opportunities that was open up there to make extra income and to get some loans. And the spending became tremendous. We went on a spending spree. A lot of people here went on a shopping spree, spending money. When Christmas time came up, you spent a whole lot of money. You think it was not an inflation time, so you just spend a lot of money. Just spending, spending, spending. And and things became more expensive. Supply and demand. The supply became low and the demand became high. When supply is low and the demand becomes high, that's considered inflation. So when the inflation became more things like cars, food, just a daily living, cars, food, um, traveling expenses, gas went up, a lot of things went up. If you notice that restaurants went up in prices, those who live in the tri-state areas, those who live in LA, a lot of restaurants prices went up. Clothing went up by tremendously. Your shopping went up, taxes went up, everything went up because supply was low and the demand was high, which contributed to inflation. So everything went up, man. Everything went up in prices. So we was spent, and if you're making 50,000 or less, the daily it was hurting you because the daily living, like your daily the basics, like your just living expenses, your basic living expenses became a struggle for people making 50,000 and under. It became a struggle. It became a struggle. And it became a struggle. And as time went on, you realize that, wow, why is these grapes causing, instead of $5, causing $10? Why is my grocery bill higher than usual? Why is buying a used car more expensive than usual? Why is just traveling from point A to point B and gas cost more money than usual? Then why, just because I want to go to a restaurant, why is, instead of paying some, I used to pay, remember, maybe go to IHOP with my kids and family, or it was $50, for example, for four of us. Now it became almost $80 to $100 on just going out to restaurants to eat. Wow. So, and a lot of us, we're going, we're just spending money, and we're traveling, going on expensive, lavish trips. If you're making 50,000 and less, you shouldn't be booking lavish trips. You shouldn't be swiping your credit card like crazy, because, and I'm gonna get to the people that make a whole lot of money, because some people make a whole lot of money on their job. Some people make a lot of income, but they haven't invested into any assets that can make them money to double their money. So if they're out of that job, guess what? They're in a hole. They're finished, because you gotta know how finance education. You gotta know, okay, if I'm making this amount of money, I shouldn't be spending on lavish vacations. I shouldn't be spending a whole lot of money on clothes and making the 1% rich. The 1% is the rich and the elite that has the money on top. They're the rich. They're the elite, wealthy people. And you're making them rich. I'm making Prada rich. I'm making Fendi rich. I'm making these people rich by spending money on expensive bags and expensive clothes, wearing jewelry. I'm just spending money. Spending money like I don't have, but I'm not investing into my future. That's a problem. That's a problem. And that will get you broke. And I'm telling you, a lot of us that's making 50,000 and under is struggling just to keep up with the basics, cost of living, daily living. If you're driving and you're paying a car note, it's a struggle. And if you're paying regular bills like utilities, is a struggle. If you're paying just groceries, buying groceries for your family, and you're making, if you have a partner, it's helpful. If she's making 50, you're making 50. You can put your money together. That's a 100K per year. You can basically, but you still gotta watch what you spend. But if you're spending that kind, if you're spending just to keep up with the Joneses, and you're overexpensing yourself with excursions and gratification, like going out hanging out with your friends every weekend, and that costs money too. You're spending money too. You're spending hanging out with your friends, or you're on your once in a while is okay. But if you're spending just to hang out, because every time you go to a restaurant, okay, your friends gonna want to get together and they want to go to a diner. They're gonna want to go to a diner. Imagine doing that every weekend, or doing that once a month. So you're spending money, but not realizing that, okay, this is costing me a lot. So we gotta carve our gratification. We gotta make sacrifice. If you wanna someday quit your job, or someday talking about time freedom, and someday not having to work, because it's gonna be a time in our life where we gotta slow down. Our physical bodies won't be able to do it anymore. So we gotta think, folks. We gotta think about our future financially, because it's gonna come a time when we're all gonna get old. It's gonna come a time, and we won't be able to. Our bodies will be telling us no, and we won't be able to work anymore. So we gotta find a way to invest. And a lot of us don't have money to invest in real estate. Let's face it, real estate is expensive now. And like I said before, it's an inflation. Everything is expensive. Everything is off the roof. But okay, bro, I don't have $200,000 sitting in my bank, or savings, or I don't have 300,000. That's how much homes cost if you want to buy it off. I don't suggest you go into finances, because you go into financing homes now, or financing vehicles. They're gonna be spending for let me go into cars. You're gonna be spending. I got a friend that heard of not a friend, a coworker that bought an expensive vehicle, possibly paying 1,000, 1,300 per month for that vehicle. And then you gotta, that's not including the car expensive. But if you're financing a vehicle, you're spending, depending on what kind of car it is. If you're buying a Mercedes, you're buying something expensive. Depending on some people, I heard a person paying a car note for 700 per month. That's how much car expenses cost now. If you're financing a vehicle, you're gonna cause taxes went up. If you're financing a vehicle, you're spending that money. You're spending more money that you're gonna actually purchase for the vehicle. You're gonna be spending more money if you have a car note, and if you're spending per month for that to drive that vehicle, and you finance that vehicle. That's why I believe. That's why I believe in buying the vehicle off, because find that. What if God forbid something happens and you don't have an emergency fund? How are you gonna? How are you gonna? And you lose your job. Let's say tomorrow. How are you gonna finance that vehicle? Because the bank is not gonna hear. You might have to you might have to apply for hardship funds right away. And if hopefully you get that right away, because when you finance a home, you finance a car, it doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the bank. It belongs to the bank. The car belongs to the bank, and the house belongs to the bank. It's not your vehicle. Anytime you finance something, it's not yours. It belongs to somebody else. You're just paying to keep it going. That's why I believe in. I live like this. If I don't have the money, if I have to finance a vehicle, I don't have the money to buy a vehicle. I have to finance a house. I don't have the money to buy the house. I might as well just wait. So do I have the capital to buy the house? And homes, let's face it, y'all, homes are expensive in New York, Los Angeles. Homes are expensive. Ooh. In other parts of the country too. Hawaii, homes are expensive. Certain parts of the country, homes are expensive. So might as well just do some research. Looking if you want to invest in real estate, go to cheap states and invest over there. Go to the capital that the cost of homes are not so expensive, and try to invest in those states that don't squeeze your pockets just to pay it. So you have to finance that. You put yourself in bankruptcy and expense. Also, for cars, you want to keep up with the Joneses. I see a lot of people buying SUVs, where it's more expensive than a sedan. In some cases, depending on the brand of the cars. And they finance these vehicles. Expensive commodity. Expensive commodity. When you purchase vehicles, you're spending a lot. You're financing vehicles, you're spending a lot. Some people buy $80,000 vehicles. You're still paying rent. And how you're buying, trying to get these expensive vehicles, or let's say $20,000 for a vehicle, brand new vehicle, but yet you're still paying rent. $20,000 for some vehicles, and then you gotta finance that vehicle because you don't have the 20K to pay it off. So you're financing. So you're spending at least, if you don't put no money down, you're spending at least $400, $500 per month just to finance that vehicle. So you'll never be able to save. If you're making $50K per year, you're never able to save, and you're never able to put your money into something else that can build your income. So your car is a liability. That's what it is, folks. And it just goes to tell me, when I hear $1 trillion, 86% of Americans are broke, and $1 trillion in credit card debt, it tells you a lot. It says a lot. It says a lot that a lot of us are splurging and spending money on liabilities. And if you're not putting away money for tomorrow, you're not building a emergency fund for yourself. Listen, folks, life happens. Things happen. And if you have to rely on your credit card to bail you out, it's not a good thing. Because your credit card won't be able to bail you out at all times. Because you can exhaust a credit card, and then you have to pay back that payment, pay back that payment that you can't afford, and you're in credit card debt now. And now because you can't pay that credit card debt off, now it hits you. And now your credit hits you. Now your credit drops. Your credit drops. And now you're scrambling, not how to pay that credit debt off. And that's why every time you pick up the phone, sometimes when you pick up the phone, you have all these marketers calling you if you have credit card debt. Some of them are scammers, some of them are real. If you have credit card debt over $15,000 in credit card debt, call me. And this is why, because of that, because of 1 trillion Americans are in credit card debt, racked up credit card debt to $1 trillion. So this is why you'll have calls like that. This is why you have emails and calls like that, because a lot of us are in debt. And it was just a struggle to get out of debt. Struggle to get out of it, especially if you're not making enough money. And there's got some people that's making a lot of money, but they don't know how to, they have poor money management. They're living beyond their means. They're spending money on splurging on expensive cars because they have that one job that's making them a lot of money. And they're not putting away, they're not putting no money into emergency fund. They're not funding no Roth IRA. They don't have no money in stocks. And you have to think about your future, folks. Got to think about your financial future. Got to think about it, because it's going to come a point in your life, and I'm going to repeat myself again, it's going to come a point in your life where you're all going to get old, and we won't be able to physically work anymore. And they have some people that every year they got to run to a vacation. Every year they got to go to a lavish vacation, buying the latest Fendi wear, and that right there can. I was telling, I have a family member that every minute running to traveling, that can really rack up your expenses. You're traveling everywhere, and it can make you broke, especially if you're not making enough money. Income you're making below 50,000, and you're running to Tom Dick. You to run to this land, you run to this country, and you're spending all that money, but yet you're not putting money in assets, things that can build your income up, so you won't, and you're making the 1% rich, and you're spending that money on clothes, and then you're traveling on lavish vacation, taking lavish trips, and you're not putting away money to honor for a rainy day. You're not putting away money into things that can build your income up. And folks out there right now, I'm telling you right now, there's many ways to make income for yourself in 2023, going on to 2024. In 2024, there's many ways to make income for yourself. Many ways, going on to 2025. Many ways. There's a lot of online businesses. There's some surveys. I'm going to leave them down in the description. There's some surveys that you can start for free and start making some money. I just discovered this one survey called I think it's called Users. If I remember that, I'm going to leave it down in the description. And of course, my favorite brokerage account, Charles Schwab, I'm going to leave it down in the description as well. You can put some money into that, and you can put this Webull too as well. You can put some money into Webull. They give you five, I think about 10 or 5 free stocks once you put money into the brokerage account. You can put like $10, and you can start building your wealth that way. You don't have to buy no expensive things. Some people say, I don't have money to build wealth. There's in 2023 and 2024, and going on to 2025, there's many ways you could start. And being rich and being wealthy, it's not easy. If that was the case, everybody would be rich. It takes time, it takes perseverance, it takes consistency. And folks, I'm telling you, it takes time. And you don't want to keep borrowing money. You know what's borrowing money? When I read this statistic, 1 trillion Americans are racking up in credit card debt. That's borrowing. That's money that's not even your money, but you're just borrowing money to keep up with the Joneses. Whether you're spending money on trips, when you're trying to keep up, and when you're spending money on clothes, and whether you're spending money on just eating out, going to these restaurants, hanging out with your friends. making the 1% rich, which is the elite, making them rich, while you sit there spending money, and we're still doing it, spending money. They got people that still, oh, there's an inflation, and people are still going out to restaurants, knowing that it's expensive, and still hanging out at restaurants once a month, maybe, but not even once a month. Let's say twice, 3 times a month. Okay, but they got people that find themselves buying out food every week, buying food out every week, and spending that money, swiping that card, spending that money, and then they gotta live check. They live and check to check, and then they wait until payday. No way to live, folks. No way to live. Listen, I'm speaking for myself and for everybody. For a lot of people that's maybe you're making 50K and you're making less than 50K. There's ways of you that there's no excuse. There's ways of you that you can start building your income. There's ways of building your income. You don't have to say I'm broke, living check to check. There's many opportunities online. Of course, you have to do your due diligence, but there's many opportunities. I mean, I'm telling you right now, there's young people right now. I'm gonna say it. There's young people that's making 14, no, about 15, 16 years old, and they're not supposed to. They think about 16, 17, 18 years old, 20 years old, 21 years old, going on TikTok, and they're making income. Let me tell you how they're doing it on TikTok. They're creating dancing videos. You don't have to dance. Creating dancing videos, and they build up their subscribers. And as they build up their subscribers, they're getting offers by maybe if they rack up enough subscribers and get enough views, they're getting offers through brands that can you ask them offers of can we advertise for you, and that's how they're making their money. There's many ways to make money on social media. There's people starting YouTube channels. There's many ways. I'm not saying it's easy, because everything you have to look into, everything takes time to build up, but you have to start somewhere. Or if you don't want to go that way, you don't want to build up a YouTube channel, you don't have to. Or if you don't want to start doing dances on TikTok or making, there's people on this platform called Fiverr that you can hire that can make you TikTok videos that can help you make some income on TikTok. There's many ways that you can build income for yourself. Like I told you about the surveys, some of them pay a lot, some of them don't. But the best way to build the quickest way for you to build an income is try learning about stocks. You can buy your favorite stock. Hey, if you're using Colgate every day and you're ordering on Amazon, hello. Right now the Amazon stock on is about $124 last time I seen it on Charles Schwab, the brokerage accounts. If you're ordering from Amazon every day, you don't have to be a seller on Amazon. There's people that sell on Amazon making money on Amazon that way too. And on eBay, and on Etsy, and on Shopify, different platforms making money with that too. I know of a person making money on eBay, selling products, buying it from the street, going to garage sales. He's buying it low, selling it on eBay, selling it high on eBay. Folks, there's many ways you can make income for yourself. You don't have to rely on that job. If that job, let's say God forbid, that job let you go, you have another source of income. I'm learning that too. I learned that since last year. It's not good to have just one source of income. It's always good to have multiple streams of income, because just God forbid, especially if you don't have an emergency fund, God forbid something happens, at least you have that safety net. At least you have that safety net. And it's not, like I said before, try not to keep swiping away at your credit cards. Because if you keep swiping away at your credit card, you feel like a slave. You'll always have that phone call. And let's say you financing a vehicle, and if you're not paying that car note on time, you'll always get that phone call. Always get that phone call, annoying phone call, when you're going to pay that bill, that credit card note, that credit card bill, that car note. And let's say now you're renting now, and you're renting a place where it's so expensive, but yet you're renting. You're squeezing. You're working two jobs to pay that rent. No way to live. No way to live. But a lot of us are just keep swiping away at that card, going back to the card swiping, and we're living check to check, and we pay that credit card off because we're just the safety net is a credit card. That should not be a safety net. Everybody should have, and even if you save $20 a week, which is not a lot, save $25 a week. Save it in an app called Acorn or what's another one called? Stash. Save it. Save that $20. Save that $30. Build up that emergency fund just in case something happens. Life comes at you. Life happens. You don't want to have no safety net. Some people using the credit card as a safety net, and it's dangerous because. And I've been in that situation before too, where I kept swiping away. I've gotten credit card debt, and all of a sudden now I can't swipe no more because I'm getting declined. The credit card is declining me. I can't no longer swipe anymore because it's declining me from my purchase or declining me from making another order with my credit card. Sisters and brothers out there, brethren and sisters out there, it's good to have an emergency fund. Even if you have to save $50 per month, $25 per month, it's good to have it. But to have a safety net as credit card, you're putting yourself in red zone and danger. You don't want to do that. And stop booking these lavish vacations. That's another thing that can get you in debt. Be careful because that can put you in debt too. And stop buying the brand names and going out to restaurants every month because that can put you in a danger zone because you're not using your cash, you're swiping away with your credit card. You're swiping away the credit card, and now you feel like a slave because they're going to be calling you nonstop because you're not paying that credit card off or you're not paying that car note off. Well, the live word of the day is coming out of Proverbs chapter 22, verses 7. The rich rules over the poor, and the borrower is a slave to the lender. What is a Zacchaeus? With another live word of the day, God bless and be safe. And if you need to share, I really would appreciate if you could share this content because maybe some people need to hear it. And smash that like button for me, and I really would appreciate it. And also subscribe to my channel, Zacchaeus Gospel Soca. Thanks for tuning in. God bless. And be safe out there. Peace and blessings. I hope you got some insight from this content that I shared. God bless. Peace and blessings, y'all.